Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 277, recorded on Monday, September 25th, 2023. And my name is Steve. Of course, I am joined by Barry, as always. Hey Barry, how you doing?
Hey everybody, doing great. Happy to be
Awesome.
here.
Great. And also joined by Greg. Greg, how's it going?
Things have been also going at least pretty well on the gaming side. Personal life is kind of hit or miss here and there, but some stuff has been really good, and then there's been some other things going on that are not podcast related. So
Gotcha. Yeah, it's nice to have games to rely on, especially during those hard times of life like we all have happening sometimes. Tonight, we're going to be talking all about the Nintendo Direct and also talking a little bit about the recent happenings with Unity and all the craziness that's been going on with that company and everything, and maybe a little bit of how it affects Nintendo and other stuff. We're also going to be talking about some other headlines, some recent information about upcoming games, some people leaving companies, some other surprise games dropping on NSO, and different things like that. But before we jump into any of that, I need to ask you to just follow us on social media. If you want to know what's going on in between episodes, make sure you follow us on social media. You can find us at NintendoFuse. And if you want even more than that, if you want more than just kind of following us and occasionally, hearing the headlines, what we tweet out and stuff like that, you can also join our Discord. We have a growing Discord over there, growing community, and you see the link on the screen, but also in the show notes and the YouTube description. Speaking of YouTube, we are streaming live, and we do that every other Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. We stream live on both YouTube and Twitch, and the video version is available on YouTube after the fact. And you can also subscribe on any of your favorite podcast apps out there. And you can find us at NintendoFuse and subscribe on there, and make sure you share it with other Nintendo gamers that you know. But before we jump into the news discussion, we're going to talk, as always, about what we've been playing. And if you are following along in the live chat, let us know what you've been playing as well. But we're going to jump over to Barry first and tell us what you've been playing the last couple of weeks.
I just hope you guys haven't filled in your things yet, because I'm I'm like, oh my god. For me on the Switch, still doing Pokemon Unite, doing my daily matches, having fun with that. Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line added Xenogears songs. Unfortunately, just 3, but I went and played through those. Last podcast, I was talking about doing the Mario and Rabbids DLC, and I was at the final boss. Well, after the show, I went and I beat the final boss. So I did finish that with 100% and got that last little note from the developers. So outside of the tower, I completed it 100%, and I'm happy with that. It was a great experience. Rayman DLC, short and sweet. But I was like, what do I do after this? And I decided to do Rune Factory 3 Special. And love the Rune Factory series. I've just fallen in love with it, and 3 is no exception. It is not as good as 4. It's shorter than 4, but it's short and sweet. It definitely it scratches that itch. It has a lot of charm to it, and I'm really happy I went through it. Didn't take me too long, and it was a lot of fun. And I think I beat it. I think I was still in summer, so it was like spring, summer. That was it. I never got the fall or winter of the first year. So it's relatively you could beat it pretty quickly. But just a lot of fun. And the big game that I was looking forward to playing, and I'm still in the middle of right now, which is The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails. This is another Falcom game. This is a game from the PSP era that never got localized. We finally get over here, and if I had to describe the game in one word, amazing. This has the action combat of Zelda and Ys. It has the quest combat, the side quest combat, really, of the Legend of Heroes Trails series. But it also feels like a Mario platformer, because every level is its own thing. You just pick the level to go to, and they have different objectives. There's 3 crystals to find per level. There's a treasure chest, at least 1 per level. There's an objective like kill 10 enemies, or don't get hit, or finish the level in 3 minutes. And it gives you these side objectives that you don't have to do it all in one run. You could just keep going back and trying. Meanwhile, you have experience. You could level up. You could buy equipment, get better weapons, get better skills. it's really an interesting mishmash because it was made for the PSP, so it's designed for portable play. A lot of fun, a really cool story, way better than I expected, and it's a shame that it took this long for us to finally get it. And NIS even gave voice acting. This is dubbed. Truly a great game, and again, I stand by the fact that Falcom is the best developer that no one is playing. Highly recommend this game. Just oozes charm. So I'm in the middle of that. I'm about halfway through. It's short too. I think it's like 5 chapters. And I'm in chapter 3, and I didn't play long. Like you can get through it pretty speedily. Each chapter is like 3 levels, and the final dungeon. Like it's really quick. But what's cool is that the levels are repeated because you could change the seasons. So you could do a level in summer, and then you could do it again in fall, and it changes it, and then winter. So there's some replayability there, and each level, like different season, has different level enemies, and they're higher level and more secrets. And definitely check it out. I recommend it. Then, because I was waiting for Nayuda to come in, and I had just finished Rune Factory 3, I figured, hey, I'm going to go back to Baldur's Gate 3 and see if I can get past that glitch. But in order to do that, I'm going to try something new, which involved me going back before the boss of Act 2, the final boss of Act 2, redoing a whole quest to keep one of my party members, then doing the whole final boss, which involved doing the whole final area again, beating it, and turns out that seemed to be a trigger because I noticed other people who had that glitch also failed to do quests with that one particular character. And I did it, and this time scenes that I never saw loaded, and I understood why it was not letting me get out of my camp the first time. Like it had to load a special sequence that it just wasn't loading. And this time it did, and it brought me into Act 3, and Act 3 was a gargantuan act right into Baldur's Gate. What an act! And I finished the game. I did complete it. It got really tough towards the end, but man, what a game with decisions that matter, and a great cast of characters, and just so open ended. And I say that, I guess, besides the bugs, my biggest complaint is the ending, truthfully, because I wanted more. You give us this great cast of characters, and then I don't get an epilogue with each of the characters. I want to know what happens to them afterwards based on my decisions. I get one scene with the person I chose to romance, and in one case, because I did multiple, one I didn't choose to romance. It was just like, okay, and then I was weird as I played the whole game good, and then I still got to see both the good and the evil ending. Like, even though I played it good, it let me choose the evil option at the very end. Like, it wasn't like based on, oh, like Mass Effect has like a morality meter, and it's like, oh, you're this far good, you can't choose evil options at this point, or you're this far evil, you can't choose good, especially at the end, like the final. But it let me see both endings. I was like, okay, and yeah, the evil ending was very disappointing, truthfully. Like, it was like, you win, you become emperor, and then like that's it. Like, I don't get to see what happens. I just take control. And that's a spoiler. I'm sorry, but it's they spoil it honestly in the trailers. Like, if you watch the trailers, they show you the evil ending. But overall, what a phenomenal game. What again? Like, Greg, I thought of Greg the entire time playing this, because this is an absolute. This is like Fire Emblem on like steroids, because the battles are strategy role playing in that regards, where you choose where to put each unit, and you move it, and the overall gameplay, the story, the interactions, the whole roles. It's like a D&D campaign offline. Like, if you want to persuade somebody of something, you have to roll a D20 based on your persuasion stats, and if your charisma is high, or if you have charisma minus, and if you have gear that helps, and you can get, like, it's literally playing a D&D campaign by yourself or with people, because you can play with multiplayer. A phenomenal game, and I'm glad I went back and finished it. I would be kicking myself for not doing that, but that took up the most of my time outside of Rune Factory. On the PC, still doing Final Fantasy 14, and despite some people, I've not quit Mario Kart Tour. I am still playing that. There's still new content right now, but even without new content, it's still fun. There's still rewards. It's not like you can't get anything anymore. It's just no new rewards. But because the way that game is structured, I'm still having fun.
Cool. Let's see. Let's go through the chat real quick, and it looks like Gamer in the Cloud says, aside from Pokemon Go, I've only found time to play about 30 minutes of Alterium Shift demo, and certainly really fun. And then Jakester says, I've gotten to a game called Honkai. Of course, you pick something I can't pronounce, Jakester. Honkai. I think it's probably
Honkai
Honkai.
Star Rail.
Star Rail, which is a speed turn-based game or gacha RPG from the makers of Genshin Impact, and that's really about it. And behind on other games as well. I am with you, Jakester and Gamer in the Clouds. I have not been playing much either. Greg, I see you're probably not been playing much either. We're all in the same boat. Somehow Barry found time when none of us
Yeah,
had
no,
time
and
for
Barry's
this.
the one with like a new infant too.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually turned
Yeah.
3 months today.
Hey.
Yeah, now it looks like she wants to join me up here and listen to the mic and help out mix stuff. So I apologize for my little puppy Minnie that wants to jump into the gaming time because she's all up into sitting in my lap while I'm gaming. So, yeah, definitely not quite as extensive as a list as last time or even as Barry's this time around. So, pretty much my primary focus has been Pikmin 2. I got really far in there now, like, so I'm already completed the primary objective. Like, a lot of the Pikmin games have like a temporary objective to complete for like the first like story mode, and then it kind of continues into like a end game kind of state where you can go back and like 100% and further that stuff. So I did the primary goal there in Pikmin 2, and then so now I'm just trying to press forward to do like the full completion like I've done Pikmin 1, 3, and 4. So once that's wrapped up, I'll have the full series under my belt that have been released on consoles. So it's still a pretty good game. It's definitely still shows its age, and even with my review of Pikmin 1, it kind of shares that same main issue of like it's a lot easier for the Pikmin to fall behind, and they don't necessarily catch up very easily. So that's definitely makes things more stressful than it needs to be. In addition, there's also been like some issues I think I've found, like when you're like it's a lot harder to like throw particular Pikmin in general. So it's like you have to like use R to change between the Pikmin types, and then if they're not like all there, then you can't even like throw a Pikmin. So it's, I don't know, it's some of the bosses require very immediate like button presses and stuff just to be throwing certain Pikmin, and that feels like it's unnecessarily difficult.
Mhm.
But yeah, other than that, did check out a few more courses in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with my daughter. We had a lot of fun doing those races. And then still doing like Monopoly Go on mobile, but it might be kind of short-lived in the coming weeks because they're getting more greedier, asking for money to play the game. So standard gotcha garbage where it's like, oh, if you want all the rewards, you have to pay us all this money every single few days. So not really liking that format as they keep making more changes, like lowering like the odds of getting like the more desirable things and other things like that. So it's kind of annoying at that regard that you can't really be a free to play player. But yeah, and then just been still playing the variety of games that Roblox has to offer. So I'm sure most of the audience doesn't really know a ton about those games, so I don't have to dive into all the various individual ones I was checking out. But there was like a cool like mansion escape game that my daughter found this last weekend that was actually kind of fun. So
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Well, as I already alluded to, have not been playing much at all. I've been traveling the last, like, it crossed over from almost 2 weeks worth of traveling. So on the road a whole lot the last couple weeks, and brought my Switch with me on one of the trips, the longer trip, and didn't even touch it the entire time. But I played some mobile games while I was at it. So played some Pokemon Go. So I have been into that more lately. Sitting around an airport or things like that and pop out Pokemon Go and see what I can do. And that was fun. And then didn't even play a whole lot of Rocket League, to be honest with you, because I haven't been home a whole lot. So I thought I was going to play some other games on the go, but as it goes, sometimes I get stuck in airports for a lot longer than planning on and end up being tired in the plane. Like one trip I was delayed 5 hours in the airport. That was fun.
Jeez.
And yeah, so didn't know what was going on, so I didn't want to get in the middle of a game, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, your plane's here. So I just kind of waited it out and was listening to stuff, and that was it. And then finally got on the plane. I was like, I have to just sleep this entire time. So that kind of stuff happened. So instead of talking about games, like I showed you guys, I think at the very end of the last podcast, one of the things my parents have brought me, because they're now like bringing me all my gaming stuff that have been sitting in their house for like years and years and years. So I thought it'd be fun to like show off some stuff. So in addition to show and tell here, you also need to be watching the video version for the antics of Greg's dog too. So
Yes.
that was hilarious.
Yep.
But yeah, do you guys remember the the wireless remote control that they had for the Acclaim put out for NES? Had two of those. That was fun. Yep, got those back. And then apparently I was all about not blowing into my cartridges or something, because I have the NES cleaning kit. So the original NES cleaning kit. We went off brand apparently for the Super NES cleaning kit. And then I also have the same one for the Game Boy as well.
Yeah.
So
I had those same pink ones.
So I don't know why we decided to go off brand when I got Super Nintendo and Game Boy. And then the last one, I have this. I think my parents brought me my sister's as well. But the handy pack for the Game Boy.
Oh my God.
And I have the controller thing attachment as well. But yeah,
those things are so terrible.
It's so hilarious because you can bring out the magnifying glass and plug in the speakers, and you have all these things hanging off your Game Boy that makes it like 3 times as big as the original Game Boy. But now I have it. I'll probably never use it, but I have it. And because it was so gigantic, it came with a neck strap, because you knew that like you needed some extra help from your head to hold this thing up, because your arms were not good enough. So that's a few of a show and tell, because I didn't have a whole lot of games to talk about this on this episode. Let's see.
I think they needed that for the Virtual Boy.
Well,
Virtual Boy had its stand.
They had some stuff. Yeah, it wasn't around long enough to have any of that stuff. Looks like chat says that's how I feel. Oh, he's talking about the Jakester's talking about Pikmin 2 as well, and totally on the same page with you, Greg. And yeah, so let us know what you've been playing in the chat, and we're going to get into some news discussion. The big news, of course, is the Nintendo Direct that happened on September 14th of 2023, and we're going to get into that. But just another reminder, if you're in the live chat, let us know what your thoughts are about all the things that we're going to be talking about tonight on this episode. And if you are watching after the fact, let us know in the comments. Let us know what you've been playing. Let us know what you think about the Nintendo Direct and everything else that we end up talking about on this episode. But let's switch it over to the Nintendo Direct that happened on September 14th. We're going to talk all the details and go through all the different games and announcements that were shown off. But first of all, just a general reaction to the Direct. What do you think in general? We won't get into grades or that sort of thing, but just a general reaction. How do you think that the Direct went, Barry?
I thought it felt very much like we have a new system on the way and we can't talk about it. So everything we're showing off now is stuff that's been in development for a while, or it's stuff that we previously announced for the Switch, so we could show a little bit more information, which is not a bad thing. It's definitely, Nintendo is not used to being in a situation where the holiday before a new system is something they don't want to cannibalize sales. They're used to, our system is dead, let's just get a new system out there. And there you could see they're like, all right, we don't want to hurt. That's why we're putting out new Switch Lights and new Switch, OLED models for this holiday. And they're like, oh yeah, here's what we got. We got titles that aren't necessarily filler, but they're not necessarily system sellers either, which is perfectly fine. A lot of ports and a lot of enhanced remakes, which I love, but you can tell there was no big surprise, and even the bigger stuff was heavily leaked or rumored for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There was I didn't feel there was any, oh my God, I can't believe they did that moment in this Direct. At least not for me.
Yeah. How about you, Greg?
Not from Nintendo, at least.
Yeah.
So, I haven't always been up to speed on all the leaks, so pretty much I was able to go into a bit more blind. So some stuff, I felt like could easily be kind of guess and still kind of safer. But I mean, I do agree with Barry that like overall, like it was definitely still telling that the Switch has been showing its age. And apparent like obviously with like the Wii U is just like, oh, we have this one game coming out and that's about it. Like check out our 3DS. Like it was like essentially like nothing at this like final like holiday before the Switch was. They even had like that Switch reveal thing revealed before the holiday as well too. But um, yeah, that's definitely a position they haven't really been in, and overall, you could kind of see that it's not like as system sellers. But I mean, the Switch is pretty old now, and a lot of the system sellers are already available. So it's like Smash Brothers, check. Mario Kart, check. Like all that's like those main boxes are checked. Like Legend of Zelda, check. Mario, check. Like so. I mean, these are a little bit more safer, and it does allow them to have more opportunities to show some different ways of playing. And I'm sure we'll be talking about those like as each individual game that we discuss further. So
cool. Let's see. Go in the chat. Looks like Jakester said he enjoyed it a lot, and so yeah, I think I'm with you, Jakester and Greg, Barry. I think a lot of people had some negative stuff to say about this direct. I don't know why exactly. I don't agree with a lot of people. They were just all negative. I understand if they wanted more, but that's always one of those things. They're like, what they did show off was solid. Like, don't give it, don't knock it because you wanted more. That's your own expectations in the wrong place. Be realistic with Nintendo, especially near the end of a product's life cycle. Like, this was a solid direct, I think, for what they have. And I'm with you, Greg. I think there was a lot of times where I also was shocked to see some stuff because I have not been paying attention to leaks at all. And so when some people were like, oh yeah, of course that was leaked and stuff, I'm like, I had no clue. So it was kind of nice. And so it is possible to stay away from those. If you travel a lot and get busy and stuff, you can't see those leaks and you'll be surprised at the next direct. Yep. So let's jump into the announcements and kind of we're going to take, as always, as we usually do for the direct reactions and stuff. We'll take like 3 to 4 or so games announcements at a time, go over the details really quick, and then kind of hash those out and then move on to the next section of games. We are going in chronological order. Sometimes we don't take that. Sometimes we take the press release order, but we're going to go in chronological order from what they showed at the very beginning of the direct and then keep on moving through. So we'll have the video version of the direct playing on the side. If you have not seen it, if you're watching the video version of our podcast, you'll at least see the video over the top of our podcast. So let's jump in at the very beginning. We saw the Splatoon 3 expansion pass wave 2, which is called Side Order. We saw more about that, and that's going to be releasing in spring of 2024. Also, we saw Mario versus Donkey Kong. That's going to be dropping on February 16th, 2024. And this is an older franchise that we've not seen much lately, and they're bringing it back. Also, Prince of Persia, another franchise that we haven't really seen much about, but we knew this is coming. We saw more about that. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, which is going to be dropping on January 18th of 2024. And then a game called Horizon Chase 2. I've kind of forgotten about Horizon Chase 1, but Horizon Chase 2 dropped on September 14th, that same day. So kind of an arcade racer, if you will. So of those 4 announcements, Barry, what'd you think?
I've been excited for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown for a while. So like you said, it wasn't new, but it was still coming, and it was nice to see. Horizon Chase Turbo is a ton of fun. If you've never played it, it is absolutely a ton of fun. So seeing Horizon Chase 2 is great. I'm waiting for a physical, but yeah, I look forward to that one. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, I'm glad it's the first one. If they're going to do it again, I think the DS games kind of became Lemmings more than the sequel to Donkey Kong 94. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested. I don't know if I'll play it at launch, but the fact that like I'm looking at this stuff now from a new point of view since I'm now a father. So seeing them show like the 2-player where you can help each other out, like my wife and I and my son, we were watching. And I was like, oh, maybe this is something that he could play earlier on and we could help him with. And And so for that, I'm excited. And Splatoon 3 looks cool. I'm surprised it's delayed till next year. I thought it was supposed to be this year, but since I didn't play Splatoon 3, it doesn't excite me. But I'm happy for those diehard Splatoon fans.
Yep. I'm with you. Jakester says Mario vs. Donkey Kong was the game of the direct, and I played the later ones, but I'm a fan of that series. And it was one of those series that I didn't think I was going to get into, and then all of a sudden, like, hours are going by when I was playing those games, and so I was really excited to see this one pop back up as well. Prince of Persia is also really exciting for me too. Greg, what'd you think?
It definitely had felt like the first two at least were more interesting to me personally. I mean, I've always liked the Splatoon single player modes, at least on like the first two games. So I was really happy to see like a pretty big focus on, I guess, the single player expansion on for number 3. I haven't really played the third Splatoon game a whole lot yet to date, unfortunately. Just been really busy with all the other awesome games out there, but it is something that I'm definitely considering getting the DLC for. Everything looked really great, and really glad to see that they're doing a lot more options for single player, not just a simple, we just threw in this single player like the very first game where it was essentially just going through a couple of missions and it was done. So the second one, they did add a little bit story to it, which was nice. And then they had the Octo expansion, which unfortunately I didn't complete yet either, but I did give that one a really good try and had enjoyed that a lot. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more what they do with the Splatoon storyline. I did really like the Mario vs. Donkey Kong game because I did play the original Game Boy Advance one, I think, or it was Game Boy Color, but it was one of the first like Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, and I had really liked that series. And then I was always kind of confused why they went more with the lemming approaches in the later games, but I never really minded like the lemming stuff as much. So I mean, I still kind of enjoyed the bulk of those, at least the first batch of them. The most recent game, like the Starry-Eyed one, I don't think I ended up getting at all, but it's a solid series, and I'm kind of excited to see it make a return. I've never really played Prince of Persia, like any of the older games and such, and unsure if I will like this one, but obviously I'll still be making that decision as we get closer to release. And Horizon Chase 2 actually didn't look super exciting. I have more been into like the cruising games and everything, and that those, even like the Excite series, seems a lot more exciting with racing, but it's still great for people that are appreciative like those kinds of like the racing genre in general, and looking forward to seeing like people happy to see that people can be excited and happy for that game, even though I'm particularly not as much interested in it.
Yeah. Is it just me, or do the Mario and Donkey Kong models in that game look similar to the movie? At least Donkey Kong.
They kind of do.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's not so much that way, but it resembles it enough where I was like, oh, I think they've kind of started to draw them a little differently this time. So, which I don't know if that's going to be, how they go in the future. Maybe that, and I also don't know, like, are there going to be voices in this game? Like, who's going to voice the characters now and all that stuff, which is something I've been asking the rest of the announcements that happened as well, a couple others. So we'll see where that goes with that too. But next set,
I think at least initially, bare bones, they might just be reusing like Martinet's taglines, because it's not like there's not usually a huge story with that. I mean, it's just DK stealing a bunch of the toys, and DK is not really known to even speak at all. So like,
Banana Slammer.
We'll see. Well, then we had another set of four different announcements. Let's say Super Crazy Rhythm Castle is going to be dropping on November 14th, 2023. This is a chaotic rhythm adventure game where you can solve puzzles and battle bosses. Also, is it Spy X or Spy Cross? Spy Cross Anya. Operation Memories is dropping in sometime in 2024. Also, Super Mario RPG, which we knew already. We got a little more details on that. It's dropping on November 17th of 2023. This is the remake of the Super NES game. and also a collection of games. In fact, a recollection. Another code recollection is dropping on January 19th, 2024. This is the Trace Memory game and its Wii sequel that I believe we did not get, or did we not get the
We never
sequel?
got it.
We didn't
We
get
never got the
either.
sequel.
Yeah.
We
The
got
sequel.
Trace Memory.
Yeah, so we didn't get the sequel in the United States or North America, and so now we get both of them on January 19th of 2024 in a collection. So you can play those games all updated and enhanced for the Switch. So Barry, what'd you think of this section of games?
Super crazy Rhythm Castle looks like it could be fun. I mean, it's Konami, so it's got Konami characters, and the fact that there's Castlevania music in it like has me intrigued. Like they could win me with that. I've seen a lot of people really happy about Spy Cross Anya. It didn't do anything for me, but it's Bandai Namco, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Mario RPG, I loved on the Super Nintendo. Such a great game. So because I've played it already, I plan to play it again now on this, the Switch remake. But if another game is coming out around the same time that's new, I'm going to put that priorities to push this one back. But I am looking forward to it. And possibly my game of the direct would be another Code Recollection, because I never played Trace Memory. I do own it. When that came out, I wasn't as big into those style of games, and I've slowly gotten there to see it come back. And I identified it immediately. I was like, "Holy crap, Trace Memory!" But to get a game we never got the sequel, that's great. That's Nintendo looking into their past catalog and saying like, "Hey, let's bring these back." So now I'm expecting Hotel Dusk to come over from the DS, and the sequel, which we never got in America either, that was only released in Europe and in Japan. So now I want to see those. Like if they're bringing DS and Wii titles over, like keep them coming. That's what I want to say. Like Nintendo has so many IP that people only say, "Oh, Nintendo only has Mario and Pokemon and Zelda and that's it." And it's like they've been doing a ton of these new games that just don't resonate, I guess, with American audiences, but they're there. They're there. They've been putting them out. So it's just a shame, So it's great to see Nintendo giving them some love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the one that stand out for me is Mario RPG, because I've actually never played it. I have like a couple different copies of, the times when they've remade it and put it on, 3DS or whatever like that. But yeah, I never played it. That was one of those things. It came out in a time where I really wasn't into RPGs, and played a couple here and there, but really wasn't into it. And now I'm into them. I just don't have the time for them. But I love the idea of them a lot more. And so Mario RPG, I know is not nearly as long as some of these other ones. It's not like a Final Fantasy game that's going to take me like 300 hours or something to play. And so I'll be able to definitely complete it and understand all these references that people have been talking about for a long time, like Gino and why he should be in Smash. So I have no idea why, but I'm looking forward to eventually finding out why. So, Greg, what did you think about this section?
Yeah, I'm pretty much, I think I'm mostly on the same page as you, Steve. The Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, I'm not really big into rhythm games, but always happy for fans of that series to get more games in that genre, because not every day you have a Nintendo Direct with a game for your genre. So definitely happy for those that are looking forward to that. The Spy vs. Anya also didn't really seem to capture me as much. I'm not usually into a lot of the Bandai Namco games in general, but who knows? Maybe some other stuff will come along and I'll get more interest into seeing more about it. Super Mario RPG is definitely one of the ones I've been mostly looking forward to. And like you, Steve, I didn't play the SNES version either. I think I had gotten it on the Wii U Virtual Console, I think, if that's where it was. Because I don't think it made the Wii Virtual Console, but I think they did Wii U. I had only played like 10, 15 minutes of it, and it was somewhat difficult on the Wii U to play. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing like this like fully remastered and fully being able to understand all the hype behind Gino and everything else too. So I'm right there with you on why we should be putting Gino into Smash. And then I do also kind of agree with Barry for another Code Recollection. I had never even heard of the original game that did make it here in the States, but I am actually pretty excited to kind of see these as I've been kind of more expanding into that kind of genre of games with like I just blanked on the other name of that by Square or whatever that we all absolutely loved and have several podcasts
Life
discussing
is
the
Strange.
Oh yeah.
Life is Strange. Yeah.
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 So I was definitely getting like a few vibes like about like that for this, and it's definitely seems to be very interested, and it will probably be on my list to pick up pretty like right around release time.
Nice. Looks like Gamer in the Clouds also never played Super Mario RPG and really excited for the Switch release.
Barry's outnumbered.
But you know what? This is why when people go, oh, it's just a remake or a port or whatever. Like I'm 100% for them because there's all new audiences that are playing it, and sometimes like another Code, we never got the Wii version, so for us it's brand new. Like I'm playing Legend of Neuta, which is a PSP game, but we never got it over here, so for us it's a brand new game. And because there's so many games, it's almost impossible to play,
Yep.
them all, especially when you want to. So sometimes it's like, oh, this fell under the radar. I just wasn't able to back on the Super Nintendo days, but now I have the time and now I'm able to, and now you get to experience it in a whole new way. So I'm 100% for it.
It's not necessarily have more time. I would have more time to play the original, but I was at a point where I wasn't really playing RPGs back on the Super Nintendo. So like,
Yeah.
I was
That's when you
very
make
limited.
time.
Yep. I was much more limited on RPGs back then, even though I had a lot more time for them back then.
Well, moving on, another section of games that were announced was Princess Peach Showtime, which we had heard announced was coming up. A Princess Peach game was going to be coming out. Now we know more about it, and it's leading into this whole I don't know, stage production sort of thing, design. And it seems like that every stage, every level has a different power up that she's going to be going after and a different type of gameplay. That's kind of what I got from it. So that's going to be dropping on March 22nd of 2024. Saga Emerald Beyond drops in sometime in 2024. We don't know a specific date yet, but it's a multi-layered RPG. Also, Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remastered is going to be dropping on Valentine's Day, February 14th of 2024. This is the original games that I believe were on PlayStation only. Is that right? Basically just PlayStation?
Tomb Raider 1 was also on the Saturn in America and Japan, and I don't. They 2 might have come out in Japan, but because the Saturn bombed so bad here, we only got the first one.
Yeah, and I think they've remade them on a couple different systems and
Tomb Raider
like
Anniversary.
And
stuff like that.
But yeah, the original Tomb Raider games are all coming to a Nintendo platform, which is kind of surprising. And then finally, Detective Pikachu Returns is going to be dropping on October 6th, 2024. And I believe this is a sequel to the original Detective Pikachu game. And I don't believe it has anything to do, except for the same name, with the movie. So if you're wondering, like I was, when I heard, oh, they're going to search to see what happened to his dad, I'm like, I know what happened to his dad. I've watched the movie. But this is a different story with Detective Pikachu. So October 6th, 2023 is when you're going to be getting that game. So Barry, what'd you think about this section?
Peach looks great. It reminds me very much of kind of like Luigi's Mansion 3, where each floor of the hotel was a different themed. So it kind of feels like that, and I really like that. So I'm 100% for Peach. The Saga series is one of those that I've never gotten into. I've been kind of scared. I've heard they were notoriously difficult, at least the earlier ones. The only one I played was Final Fantasy Legend 3 because I thought it was a Final Fantasy game, but it's a Saga game. And there's a lot on the Switch. There's a lot of Saga games you can play on the Switch. So I'm not going to say no, but it's going to be a downtime when I try and go through some Saga games. But I'm happy to see a new one. Tomb Raider 1 to 3, great to see. It's this is Asper doing it because Embracer now owns the IP, so they're at least doing something with it, unlike Square, which stopped. So I'm glad to see them doing something. I'll probably get it, but I don't know if I'll play them. Ben, Detective Pikachu Returns. I never finished the first game, but I did enjoy it. So I look forward to this one. Whether I play it at launch or not, I don't know. But yes, it's different than the movie. The movie it's kind of like it goes a different route. The games are a different universe. They're like alternate universe, multiverse kind of thing. But yeah, it looks good and it looks like a lot of fun. And I still want Danny DeVito to voice Pikachu.
That'd be great. Looks like Gabriel in the Cloud says his daughter is most excited about Princess Peach Showtime. And Jakester agrees. Princess Peach is probably the most intriguing from the game from the direct. Really looking forward to that. Also, Swordman Peach is the best. Let's go on to you, Greg. What do you think about this section?
At least for this section, for me, like the Princess Peach game definitely showed the most promise and most interest. It was actually really funny as soon as I saw like Peach transforming into the swordsman. I'm like, hey, look, it's like Marth Peach. Like, I immediately jumped to the Fire Emblem relation, and like, it was just kind of funny how that just kind of influenced my like thought on it. Like,
they're gonna give her a sword in the next Smash Brothers.
I know, right? That's now she can be a sword fighter, and right. She can have like a fun little mask and just pretend to be a Marth clone too. So I know everybody loves the Marth clones in the game, Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely like its initial announcement definitely didn't like really interest me as much. But after seeing like it's like a title and like the official title, and now that after like kind of understanding how the gameplay is going to play out, it does seem like it could be pretty interesting to see like Princess Peach actually starring in the main role. So it's unfortunate that she's not like Bowser's not behind it, and she could finally get like go after him finally. But I guess I will wait for another day. But it's certainly very interesting, and I'm probably going to be checking it out like hopefully next year at some point, hopefully sooner than later. But I know there's tons of games on here that I feel like I need to get next year already. The Saga series I have never played. Unsure. I mean, based on what Barry just saying, if it's very, very difficult, then it's not usually my type of RPG. I'm not even like the Etrian Odyssey series I felt was very difficult, and that was a lot harder for me to get into as well. So if this one's supposedly one of the hardest RPGs, then it's most likely going to be a hard pass for me.
They might have made them easier though. That's the earlier ones,
Yeah,
right?
it's always possible. I mean, I was saying how the new Pikmin games are easier than the older ones, but the older ones definitely are showing their age too, and it's kind of more of a limitation with the hardware because older games had to be inflated difficulty level because they can't make as long as games, so they had to turn up the difficulty to make it at least somewhat more challenging. So never know. So it could be easier. I don't know. The Tomb Raider games, I never really had a major thing for Tomb Raider. I didn't feel like I was really missing out or was urging me to get a PlayStation for those games. And like, it's great that they're remastered here on Switch for people that do want to check her out and everything, but probably didn't seem like it was super appealing from what they showed worth a purchase for me, but still happy for those that get to enjoy it. And pretty much for Detective Pikachu, I didn't play the first one. I did see the movie, which was actually pretty hysterical, but definitely great for fans of Detective Pikachu that he gets another game to play around with. So probably not something I'll be looking at personally getting, but again, just happy for people that do get to enjoy it.
Yeah. I think Princess Peach was the game that stood out to me. I don't know if I'm going to get it right away, but it definitely was one that stood out to me. I'm interested in it. Next section of games, we saw Wii Music. I mean, Trombone Champs came out that day. Kind of a secret drop there for you on September 14th, and and then also Battle Crush is dropping sometime in spring 2024. This is a 30-player brawling game. And there's also a beta test that's coming out in October, and so you can check out the beta test for Battle Crush. And also a game called War Tales that's also dropped that same day, September 14th. And you lead a group of mercenaries in their quest for infamy and fortune. So what did you think about this set of 3 games?
Trombone Champ, all I saw was, oh my god, my son can never see this game exist if I value my eardrums. And why? Why, Lord, why?
It will be one of the first things that I introduce him to.
I will kill you. So yeah, that's a thing. I'm happy for those that like it. You know what? To me, the biggest thing is it's a game that's using the IR sensor and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and the Joy-Con. I think it's as Nintendo does with gimmicks. Let's introduce something, they use it as a tech demo, and then never really utilize it. So that's cool. As for Battle Crush and War Tales, no interest whatsoever. But I'm happy for those that are excited for that type of game.
For sure. How about you, Greg?
Yeah, the trombone thing was definitely came out of left field, and again, I almost thought it was like a Wii Music port because I've heard of the horror stories surrounding that. But yeah, I didn't know we need to go back to Guitar Hero type games, but with trombones now. So um, great to finally see if they use this IR camera like at 6 years into the Switch's life cycle.
That's
So
true.
doesn't
Yep.
we're still waiting on that second gamepad support for the Wii U that we haven't gotten. So
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
Wii
that's
Vitality
true.
and the Wii Vitality sensor and other promised stuff that never
Yes.
came to be.
That's so true. It's all going to be wrapped in the Switch 2 Pro.
There we go.
There
Super
you go.
Switch
XL Mini.
Pro.
Yeah, sorry, new Super Switch Me Pro 2. The
and tail and knuckles.
recollection.
But yeah, yeah, the Battle Crush
Featuring
thing
Dante
is
from Devil May Cry.
yeah, the Battle Crush is definitely a hard pass. I'm not really into the MOBA style games, so that's great for those that do enjoy those games, but definitely a easy hard pass for me. And War Tales did kind of look like it was kind of interesting because it did remind me of Heroes and Might and Magic, and that's been one of my all-time favorite games on the PC. And that was like one of the only games I did play on PC, and like that was giving me lots of vibes there. So I don't know if I'll be checking this out further as we get to release, but or I guess it already released. Never mind. But I guess I'll be seeing if there's like a demo or something else that might be help me convince me to make that purchase.
Yeah. Yeah. Jakester says I guess it's really going crazy with Trombone Champ over on Twitch. So viewership is amazing, and ironically, the game came out on Switch 1 year after it already came out on PC, and I did not realize it was a game that was already out. Other than a remake of Wii Music, that's what I was thinking. So that's crazy that it was already on a PC. But yeah, it's an interesting game for sure. Is it free? Or is it like, I hope it's like
No,
99 cents or something.
no, it's probably like $15 or something. That's standard.
Not worth it. That's my review. I haven't even played it yet. Let's keep moving this next set of games. And yeah, we saw a collection that's, or actually not a collection. I thought it was going to be a collection of games. But Contra Operation Galuga is a new reimagined Contra game that you can play single player and also multiplayer. It's coming out on sometime in early 2024. Also, an RPG called Unicorn Overlord is going to be dropping on March 8th, 2024. And we got Luigi's Mansion 2 HD that's coming sometime next summer in 2024. And this was a game that I could have sworn we have heard about before, but I don't think we had.
We did.
We did?
We have heard. Yeah, we
Okay.
did. When they announced Peach. It was when they
Good.
showed off Mario Wonder and said, "Oh yeah, Peach is getting a game and Luigi's getting a game."
Good. I'm so glad you said that because I feel like no one else, like everybody else I'd heard online, were acting like this was brand new information, and I'm like, did I dream this up? I swear I saw this already.
It was in the last direct.
Okay, good. I'm not going crazy, or either that, or I don't have fortune telling dreams. But Barry, what'd you think of this set of games between Contra, Unicorn Overlord, and Luigi's Mansion?
The Contra looks great. It's definitely way forward, so it looks fantastic. And there was already a Contra collection, so if you want that, that's already on the Switch. But I'm all for bringing back older IP. As for Unicorn, I immediately could tell it was Vanillaware because they have an amazing art style, and I like virtually every one of their games. This game, it's not my style of RPG, so I'm probably going to pass on playing it. But that being said, if this is your style of RPG, Vanillaware does amazing, amazing games. Odin Sphere, Muramasa, Demon's Crown, or Dragon's Crown. I mean, 13 Sentinels, phenomenal, phenomenal games. So I would check this out. And who knows, this could wind up being fantastic, and I wound up playing it anyways. But this to me is up more Greg's alley. As for Luigi's Mansion 2, I look forward to playing through that again because I never did finish the DS version. I think it's interesting they're actually calling it Luigi's Mansion 2 over here. I
Yeah.
kind of wish they did a Dark Moon, like give us the subtitle, because that way, people who, at least in America, will understand, like, oh, this is a Dark Moon thing. And I still wish they did Luigi's Mansion 1. Like I know they did it on the 3DS right away, towards the end of the life cycle, but they could have put this as a 2-pack, like done all
Yeah.
the money into 2 HD and then just poured it over the 3DS or even the GameCube version of Luigi's Mansion and done a 2-pack. I think it would have been fine, but I'm still happy to see more Luigi's Mansion. Maybe this means they're working on 4 for the next system, and this is just there for the older system, like Luigi's Mansion 1 on the 3DS came out when they were doing Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch. So maybe maybe it's a sign.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, like Pikmin, try to get all the big games in a certain series ready for the next system when you release the next one. So yeah, I think there's still time for them to change the name. I think added a subtitle could happen before next summer for sure. Greg, what'd you think about this?
Yeah, this was definitely a pretty solid group from my perspective. I mean, I have always really liked the very original Contra games, but never really got into like the further ones as they kind of disappeared from Nintendo platforms for the most part. I did get that Contra WiiWare game, and I had some fun with that. But this does look pretty fun, and most likely we'll probably be picking it up just to kind of relive the old Contra days. Yeah, the Unicorn Overlord does. Maybe that's the one I was confusing with like the Heroes Sting thing from the last segment, but maybe it was this one that I was thinking about when we were watching like the video on repeat. So this might be the one that I was thinking of that would probably more warrant the purchase. But again, I'll have to double check my sources in the meantime, and definitely been very interested in the Luigi's Mansion series as a whole. I mean, I did play the original GameCube 1 and 2 and 3. So who knows? Maybe it might be leading to a fourth entry. I mean, only time can really tell, and definitely would be excited if that would be the case. I mean, I wasn't really into the multiplayer in the third one, but I'm glad it's there for people that want to have more time with the game because it's not exactly the longest game either. So just happy that people can be able to enjoy that. But one final note, I'm just disappointed they didn't capitalize on the Halloween timing for either this year or next year for the drop date.
Yeah, it would have been nice. Also, we let's look at the chat real quick. Looks like Jakester is excited about Luigi's Mansion 2, and Gamer in the Clouds is excited about Contra, and has some good memories from the original NES, and also excited about Luigi's Mansion as well. So this next section, we got away from games, kind of, and we know that the Nintendo Museum that's going to be opening up in Japan, construction has started, and it's supposed to be done by March 2024. So if you're looking to book your tickets over there and see the Nintendo Museum open, you can head over there after March 2024. We don't know when it's going to be opening, but we know that the construction is supposed to be complete around March time. And then, that's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be delayed some because that's how construction goes. But that's what they're shooting for. We also got some amiibo information. So the Zelda and Ganondorf amiibo is coming out November 3rd of 2023. I think I wrote down 2024 on my my notes, and I think that's wrong. It's 2023. And then Noah, and I apologize, is it Mio or Mayo? Mio is coming out January 19th, 2024. And then the Sora amiibo is coming out sometime in 2024. And that will wrap up all of the Smash Brothers Ultimate characters and having their amiibo formats. So what'd you think about this section, Greg, or Barry?
I love the Nintendo Museum idea. I mean, I've always thought that it's needed. But it's funny at the same time they don't preserve all their games physically, and it's like the whole point of a museum is to preserve history and to show it off and to teach it and educate, and so we don't forget. So let's preserve your games so that they are not lost or can't be downloaded again or played or experienced, because that's never happened. Mario 35, Fire Emblem, no, it's never happened before. Not on the Switch, at least. No. So good job, Nintendo. And then they announced in the Japanese version of the Direct, Mario Kart 8 is getting a new physical with the booster pack, but it's only containing waves 1 to 5. 6 is a download code. Like, you were almost there. Why not just wait and give it everything on the card and have the game complete? It's in English. It's playable in English, the whole thing, but it's only waves 1 to 5, but not wave 6.
I didn't hear about that. That's hilarious.
Yes. So it's like, come on, Nintendo, you were so close. You're so close. Give us the whole thing. Come
Wow.
on. So Nintendo is still being Nintendo. As for the amiibo, we knew about the Zelda and Ganondorf, so it's great to have dates. We knew Noah and Mia were coming, so it's great to see the actual amiibos, and they announced after the Direct what they do. They unlock costumes in Xenoblade 3 for Noah and Mia respectively. They are spoilerific costumes, so it's one there if you haven't played. I would not use those amiibo until you're end of chapter 5, I'd say. But they're really cool amiibo. And then Sora. So many people are like, we're not going to get Sora because of Disney. I'm like, no, they said every fighter is getting an amiibo. Sora's coming. So Sora is finally coming. So everybody is here just in time for the next Switch and a brand new Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much same stuff alongside Barry. I guess we found out where that Game Boy disappeared to from the Nintendo store in New York. So it's been apparently shipped back to Japan to be shown in this museum. Who knows? Maybe they can prove Barry wrong and they'll have Mario 35 playable only at the Nintendo Museum. It's exclusive to other people that are there at the museum.
That would piss off so many people.
They'll have like a fully fledged 3DS with every single game from the eShop already downloaded on it.
Stuff's going to start happening at the Nintendo Museum instead of Nintendo in New York.
Yeah, probably. You know what? I wonder, I don't know if you guys remember or knew about this. The Louvre in France, there is a 3DS game. It's the only region-free 3DS game in existence. Yep. The Louvre Guide. I'm wondering if there's going to be like a Switch game that's the Nintendo Museum Guide kind of deal.
It'd probably be an app.
Yeah, okay.
Probably.
On the new 3DS XL.
Yeah.
You can see everything in 3D with the new 3DS app.
It's like almost like you're there. Wait a second.
I don't know how they'd add it to their app store with it not being up anymore, but they'll figure out a way.
That's right.
They'll open it up just for 5 minutes for people to download.
Yep.
But yeah, I definitely want to take a trip out to Japan at some point in my lifetime, and this definitely solidifies worth the wait and to see my way there, like when I finally get there. So definitely excited for the museum to open at some point in the future. Yeah, as Barry said, the Zelda and Ganondorf amiibos were already previously announced. Great to have dates. Obviously, the Xenoblade amiibo, great to have some more amiibo figures out there, and not ones I'll be buying myself because I haven't really been the hugest Xenoblade fan.
You need to get back to that game, Dan.
There's lots of games to play. But yeah, the Sora being here, it's great. I kind of missed the Pyra and Mithra amiibo, so I'm gonna have to figure out like when those will get eventually reran. So that's fun there. So hopefully I can get Sora and not have to have it back ordered and not get them for quite a while afterwards. So great to see that Smash Brothers is all the amiibo section is finally complete. Never thought I'd
complete right now until they go. Guess what? Here's the other Koopa kids. Here's Alf from Pikmin 3. Here's the player 2 version, like the male Wii Fit trainer and the female villager and all that.
Here's all the Mii costumes.
Oh god. They'll find a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I almost feel like the amiibo line has been kind of dying in
Oh, yeah.
general. I feel like there's
Yeah.
been very few like releases, all things considered, back from like the 3DS and Wii U era, where it felt like just about every game came with like new amiibos. So
Yep.
I think they're at that stage where they're just going to reprint amiibo that, to keep using them, but maybe add one or two new amiibo based on the game. But look, Mario Wonder didn't get an amiibo announcement. Even in the special direct, you would think they would have
Yeah.
done it there. And instead, I believe it just uses, if it uses any at all, it's a Super Mario line.
Makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, and if you have been, missing Mario 35, maybe this other game is gonna maybe make you happy. I don't know. F-Zero makes a return. Kind of. It's F-Zero 99, so it's going to be a battle royale F-Zero game based on the original from the SNES. So not a brand new game with updated graphics and everything like people are wanting, but I've heard it's really, really fun. I've not played it yet, but it shadow dropped that day, and it's going to be for NSO members only. Also, a game called Bandle Tale, a League of Legends story, is going to be coming sometime in 2024. And another League of Legends story called Song of Nunu is dropping on November 1st of 2023. So F-Zero 99, and then a couple League of Legends stories, side stories that are dropping on the Switch this autumn and next year sometime. Barry, what'd you think about this?
I've actually forgot to mention I did play F-Zero 99. I forgot to put it there. So I did play it. It's fun. It's chaotic. I like the fact that before you can even play online, you actually have to do F-Zero 25, 50, and 99 with CPU before you could even play with other people.
Earn your
And then
way.
you have to earn your way. And there's tickets so you can do like special rounds and stuff. And I mean, it is as chaotic as you would think it is, and I think the highest I've gotten thus far is like 40th place. I haven't played a lot though. I mean, maybe I've done like 6 races. It allows you, like, it gives you 2 courses, and you can vote which one you want, and the winner is the one you race on. The interesting thing is that supposedly in the data mines, they found that the Satellaview courses will be coming over, and the Satellaview courses were only available in Japan on the Beta Satellaview system when they were broadcast. We never got them over here, so it's wonderful to see them actually coming back. Unfortunately, they're coming back in a battle royale online only thing that people have to vote to get that course, and then will not last, as opposed to giving us even a standalone F-Zero with all the courses unlocked the Super Nintendo style, which would be better. But at least this is something. Maybe this will lead to a new F-Zero game. Beggars can't be choosers. As for the other 2 games, I never played League of Legends. They don't look interesting to me, but it's nothing bad. It's for those League of Legends players, I know it's a very popular game. There's definitely a market for them.
Yep. Jakester says doesn't have an interest in playing F-Zero 99. F-Zero is a franchise that didn't really catch his attention. Stick to Tetris 99 instead. So, Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I was definitely very pleasantly surprised to see F-Zero 99, because I don't know, I've kind of felt like it was like a pretty reasonable fit for that type of genre, because the Tetris 99 and other stuff, like I felt like the racing thing would be a pretty good fit. So I was definitely very pleasantly surprised to see it was F-Zero of all things, because it's not like Nintendo has released a F-Zero game like in the last couple decades. Pretty much just like the GameCube one was like the last one. But I did download it. I just haven't done any races with it yet. So great to know that they're putting like a barrier to entry on there to actually be able to play it online. Unlike all the other 99 games, you didn't have to like complete, like you didn't have to beat Mario 1 to play Mario 35. You didn't have to beat Tetris or whatever to play that online, and you certainly didn't have to get a max score in Pac-Man and beat that fully to play that online. So it's nice to know that they're implementing barriers to entry for people on these now.
Yeah.
And then pretty much not really into big on the crafting type stuff for RPGs, so that was probably going to be a somewhat hard pass on the League of Legends. And the other RPG game didn't really quite drive me either, so I wasn't going to be picking up that either. But again, always great for fans of those series to get a new entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you guys on F-Zero. It's probably not going to be a game I play a lot, but hey, it's free for NSO members, so I'll probably check it out and see how it goes. And League of Legends, the games look really cool. Like I won't be playing them, but I love the art style that they went completely different directions with both games, and they look really, really good. So I hope the gameplay matches how good they look. But I won't be playing them myself. But excited for people that are into that entire series. So let's move on to the next section. We got more information about WarioWare Move It. It's dropping on November 3rd of this year. And if you're into the WarioWare games, you're going to see a bunch of crazy, ridiculous stuff again in this game. Also, Euden, I think is what it's pronounced. Euden Chronicle 100 Heroes is dropping on April 23rd of 2024. And Eastward, this is a DLC called Octopia, is dropping sometime this holiday of 2023. And then also a game called Wargroove 2 is dropping on October 5th, 2023. And it's a turn-based battle game that had a bunch of music, or not a bunch, but music that played that sounded a whole lot like Smash Brothers Ultimate when I listened to it. I don't know if you guys recognize that too, but as soon as I heard the music, I'm like, wait, is that Smash Brothers? That's the only thing that stood out to me about that game. But WarioWare, Euden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, Eastward DLC, and Wargroove 2. What'd you think about that, Barry?
WarioWare Move It looks like a lot of fun. I'm a fan of the WarioWare series, and again, that's definitely something I could see pulling out when my son gets a little older and doing like the quirky motions and stuff, and just having him like laugh and enjoy. And so I definitely look forward to that one. Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes is one I kickstarted, so I'm getting it when it comes out. It's like a spiritual successor to Suikoden, which is a phenomenal JRPG series. It looks great. There was a previous game they put out, Rising, which was like a bonus game, but I haven't played that one. I have it, but I just haven't played it. But I think it looks great. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited to see how it pans out, because Suikoden is one of those series that Konami seems to have forgotten about, even though we are getting Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remastered, which is great. As for Eastward, I've heard it's a really fun RPG. So, like quirky, not like traditional. So, I don't know if I'll check out the DLC because I haven't played the original game, but maybe if I wind up playing the original game, I'll definitely check out the DLC. And Wargroove 2, Wargroove is pretty much Advance Wars, because Nintendo wasn't giving Advance Wars for a while. So if you're an Advance Wars fan, you probably have played Wargroove 1. So it's not my style. Again, I prefer turn-based, not the strategy RPGs. But for those that do, like Greg, like perfect up your alley.
Nice. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I've WarioWare. I've been kind of hit or miss with the series, but I felt like it's the stronger entry was the Wii one, and I was kind of eager to kind of see it kind of return to that style. So, like, I had absolutely loved the Wii one to death because of like, all the crazy motions they have you doing with like the controllers, like the Wii remote at the time, and now the Joy-Con. So, definitely looking forward to this one a lot more than some of the other WarioWare games that have released over like since then. That Euden Chronicle, I almost felt like it was like a Fire Emblem meets whatchamacallit, the Tecmo Koei games, like the whatever, the Hyrule Warrior, like the Warriors types thing.
Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors, and I don't know, like I don't know if that one's gonna be quite for me. And then Wargroove 2, it did kind of give me the Advanced War vibes. I still haven't played Advanced Wars. I have it downloaded. I haven't booted it up yet, so that might be on my list to eventually check out, assuming I can get some time to transition over to these strategy games.
Nice. Yeah, I think WarioWare might be one of those games. I don't know. Like, life has just changed since was into those games, but I agree with you, Greg. The Wii game was hilarious and so much fun. Love those games a lot more on the motion control, for sure. Let's move on to the next section. Dave the Diver is making its debut on the Switch because it's already been out on Steam, I believe, but it's coming out on Switch on October 26th of this year of 2023. But there's a demo that dropped that day, so if you want to play a Dave the Diver demo, you can do that already as you wait the game to drop on October 26th. We got more information about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC Wave 6 that's not going to be on that cartridge that's dropping in Japan, but that's going to be coming in holiday of 2023. We found out that we're going to have Daisy Circuit from Mario Kart Wii, and then also some additional characters like Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, Pauline, and Peachette. So for those of you that thought there was only going to be 2 more characters, they are dropping 4 new ones on us. So that's going to be coming out sometime this holiday. And some people have thought that it's going to be in October, late October. I've seen some dates going out there, like I think GameFAQs and some other places have been saying that date. I don't know if that's actually true. They're just kind of speculating or what. But late October is what they're saying. And then speaking of October, Among Us is getting a new map called The Fungal, which is going to be dropping also sometime in October. So Barry, what'd you think about this section of games announcements?
So Dave the Diver doesn't interest me at all. The trailer did not sell it to me. But I've heard good things, but it just didn't do it for me. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I'm happy that they're finally finishing to see what it does. See what courses are added. The characters, I was really excited because I really wanted Dixie, and I'm like, oh, here's Diddy, and here's Funky, and then here's Pauline. I could get behind that, and then Peachette. I'm like, I would trade Peachette for Dixie, hands down. Dixie only has appeared in tour, and come on, I mean, Donkey's already there. Diddy, Funky, like Dixie is part of it. I'm sorry, like that's classic DK. She needs to be there, and it's a shame that she's not there. Instead, we get Peachette. Now we're gonna get the Bowsette memes coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Among Us, a game I've never played. I've heard good things about. I'm happy for those that really enjoy it because the new map is there. And who knows, it might be something my kid winds up playing, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm playing it with you. And I mean, I have it. It's just never played it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. I still don't understand why Peachette even exists, let alone as a character in Mario Kart. But I don't know. We'll see. Greg, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was pretty much the hard pass for me on the Day of the Diver. That didn't really quite interest me a lot. So it was, again, for people that like those kind of styles and stuff, that's great. And I have to keep repeating that again. Sorry about all of that. But yeah, the Mario Kart 8 stuff was definitely very interesting to me because Mario Kart's like one of my favorite series. So yeah, the character reveal was definitely caught me way off guard. I mean, I was also with Barry. I was like, kind of, where's Dixie? Like, you're going to add these other 2 major Kongs and you're not going to add in Dixie. And then I was even trying to contemplate, like, was she even on like the Wii version or something too? Or was it only that the tour that she was on? But
Dixie was only in tour.
Okay. Some reason
they added a lot of characters for the first time in tour.
Yeah, because I felt like in the Wii version, I felt like it was like the Return of the Kongs kind of thing, and they had like a bunch of like Donkey Kong characters in that one. But I guess she didn't make the cut on that one. But yeah, Peachette is definitely one of those odd choice characters that almost feels like a move from Sakurai. Like, here's this character that nobody wants, like Peachette, like yay. So yeah, obviously there's gonna be some people that are excited to see her and have like a slightly different crown because it's like that Toadette crown thing from New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. But sure, so happy for the people that are excited for, but it's definitely not going to be my go-to character racer for me. Yeah, definitely excited for the latest courses. The Among Us is, I played that a lot with my daughter, and definitely appreciate seeing that they're going to be adding a new map, and it looks kind of cool to check out. So I was almost thinking that little short movie that they played was almost going to be like a hint for like Mario stuff in Among Us, but not quite there yet, I guess, because we all know how much Mario doesn't like mushrooms thanks to the movie. So that would have been a perfect little tie-in there, but I guess not. But yeah, it'll still be fun to check out that new map when it goes live next month.
Nice. Jakester's really excited about Among Us and trying to get some people together to do a session of Among Us for fun. And also talking about Bouette. That'd be hilarious. All right, so let's move into this last section. And we started off with a sizzle reel, mostly, I believe, only focusing on Nintendo first-party games, if I'm not mistaken. So Nintendo first-party games that we know that are coming out, some that were shown off earlier in the Direct, and others that we found out about before. But they just, here's another reminder. These games are coming out. Very, very Mario heavy up until this point. And then they decided to drop another Mario announcement at the very end. And we saw that Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door, the original GameCube game, is getting remastered, remade for the Switch and coming out in sometime of 2024. I know a lot of people were going kind of crazy when they started to see the opening of this. And yet again, this is another Mario RPG game that I have not played. So I didn't get as excited as some people did about this. I have heard that it was potentially leaked ahead of time, but I had no idea about it. So it was news to me. Barry, I'm going out of order again here. Barry, what'd you think about the sizzle reel and, of course, A Thousand Year Door?
The sizzle reel to me was, first off, something they're probably going to start doing later, in every one going forward. But it felt like to me like we know the Switch 2 is coming, but look, this is what we still have for the Switch. Look, we're still giving you a ton of games, and they are. A ton of things to look forward to. So there's no reason to think about the Switch 2 right now because you have the Switch. That's what it felt like, but that's okay. That's exactly what they should have been doing right now. As for Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, it is phenomenal. Arguably the best in the series. And for those that never got to experience it, absolutely worth playing. And the biggest thing for me and for many other Paper Mario fans is we felt after this, the series lost its direction. Super Paper Mario was good, but very different game. Sticker Star was Sticker Star. Color Splash was a little bit better than Sticker Star, but still not all the way there. And Origami King, great game. Still wasn't what we wanted. Like the battle system and the lack of experience points and all that stuff. So we got Paper Mario and the N64 NSO, and now we've got this coming. Hopefully this rejuvenates everything, and they go, oh, this is what we want. So this has to sell better than Origami King, and maybe Nintendo will be like, oh, we're gonna give you party members again. We're gonna give you original characters. We're gonna give you things that are not just generic Toads. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this does well. But it is a phenomenal game, and if you haven't played it, you're in for a treat.
Nice. Yeah, I think the only game in that entire series I played is Super Paper Mario because it was so different. I loved the idea of switching the camera around. That totally grabbed me at the time. But correct me, I believe this is right, but the Mario RPG series shifted into Paper Mario, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Paper Mario was originally called Super Mario RPG 2, but because Square did the first one, they couldn't use those characters, and this was internally, the intelligence systems did it, and they changed it up completely. So when Paper Mario was first shown off, a lot of us at the time, I don't know if you remember, but we were all upset. We're like, what? This isn't what we want. This isn't Mario RPG 2. This isn't more of the same. And that's why. So the Paper Mario is essentially the sequel series to Super Mario RPG, which ironically we're also getting. So it's now we just need the Mario and Luigi series to come back.
Nice. Greg, what'd you think about these?
I definitely stole my thunder. I wanted to mention Mario and Luigi first, but thanks. Yeah, Super Paper Mario was my first Paper Mario game. Then I think I did Sticker Star before going back to the original one just because of availability purposes, and I was kind of eager to see where it was going to go from there. And then upon playing Sticker Star, I was definitely lied to, and that was a bunch of horse garbage. And then that continued further with Color Splash that I've been pretty vocal against as well. Origami King is still a step up from Color Splash and stuff like that, but it's still nowhere near what the original was kind of promising. And this is actually the only Paper Mario game I have not played. I did really play the first one a lot, I think around to the 5th or 6th star, and then I think I had lost my save file through the my original Wii U getting stolen from like, the house break-in, so then I never have gone back to resume playing it or like start another file. So unfortunately, I haven't beat that one, but I am definitely looking forward to this because I've only heard entirely great things about it and how it's like Mario RPG stuff, like at it, like some of its best, and at least in the paper series. So definitely very excited to be picking this up to be playing going forward. And yeah, and I think that's kind of what hooked me into the Mario and Luigi series because I kind of kept like the RPG stuff like all along. Like you could still level up and got experience points, and that's why I've always favored that series over the Paper Mario series, just because in Super they decided to pretty much go away with a lot of that stuff. So it's kind of great to see Mario RPGs go back to its roots with the return of this game. And as Barry said, please buy this game up. We need to show Nintendo this is what we want for Paper Mario going forward. So please help do them justice if you want to see a return to form for the series.
Nice. Well, let's we're going a little long today, but I do want to make sure that we give a little quick review of the Nintendo Direct. So, Barry, if you were to give this Direct a letter grade, how would you grade it?
I think I'd grade this one a B to a B plus. The game content was good. There was a lot of great games there, but there was no big hurrah, no big surprise, no big something we didn't see coming. Now, all the games that were brand new that we didn't know about were all remakes or ports. Paper Mario is a remake. Another Code is a remake. And the stuff that is new, like Peach, we knew about. Luigi mentioned too, another one we knew about, but it's another remake. So because of that, I'd give it a B to a B plus. Not saying the games are bad because the games are great. There was just no big surprise, no big, oh my god, I can't believe they did that or they showed that off or that they're making a brand new one of these. And the closest we got was F-Zero, which when I saw that, I remember the Mario RPG reveal where it showed the Super Nintendo RPG and then it panned back out and then it was the remake. I'm like, oh, they're remaking F-Zero. That's what they're doing. And then they panned down, it's like 99. I'm like, no, this is not what I wanted in my head. So I think that's a fair grade for me.
Yeah, makes sense. Jakester saying B plus to A minus for him. Let us know in the chat what you guys think. I'm gonna go with a solid B to B plus as well. I agree with you, Greg. How about you?
I was also feeling like, at least maybe I was more cynical. I was going with like a straight B. And I do agree with Barry. A lot of like the bigger games have all been either known about like from a preview, like the Summer Direct, along with like the bigger games like the Peach, like even like knowing more stuff about the Peach game and some of the other surprises that like we did get. It's not like it's, oh, here's like the Tears of the Kingdom 2, or here's Super Mario Odyssey 2, here's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate 2. I mean, it's like nothing like heavy hitter system seller type stuff that we discussed in the opening. It's essentially all great and wonderful games. Glad they're all being here for. I mean, there's even several of them that I'll be getting, and including some of the remakes that I have played and have not played. So it's still great that everything is there in general. But yeah, there was no like a Mewtwo is back moment that we are kind of almost expecting with each of these Nintendo Directs. So yeah, I felt like a B is a very solid grade. It's nothing about like bad about the game shown or even the quality or the quantity. It's more about like you could see that the Switch is kind of getting older in its state, and it is quite possibly kind of leading into like the eventual swan song for the system.
Yep. Well, that brings us to the end of a Nintendo Direct discussion. We've got one other story we want to talk about. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this at all, but we want to make sure that you guys know about it. But have a little bit of discussion before we move into our headlines. So we'll keep this short. But Barry, fill us in a little bit about what's been going on with Unity. And if people don't know, Unity is one of the more popular, if not probably the second most popular gaming engine that is out there. A lot of people use it for their games, and a lot of controversy has been going on recently surrounding this company. So fill us in a little bit what's going on. It won't be extensive, of course, but then we can have a little quick discussion and we'll move into our headlines.
So Unity, like Steve said, it's a engine, and it's a very user friendly engine, and it's applicable on a lot of platforms. Unreal is the biggest engine, but Unreal can't run on everything, at least not at full power. But Unity has been used for a lot of pixel games and a lot of smaller games, and a lot of indie developers use it. In fact, ironically, when I just beat Rune Factory 3 Special, at the very end, it's like made with Unity, and I just had a laugh because they're like, this didn't age well. So Unity put out a new, pretty much, terms where I don't know the whole specifics of it, but the gist of it is that they are trying to leverage people who use Unity and get more money out of it. So what they proposed is, if anytime someone downloaded a demo of the game, it costs the developer. Anytime someone installed the game, it costs the developer. It was ridiculous things like that. If you like if you like lost your computer, died, you had to reinstall the game, the developer lost money. Like you just took money out from the developer, and it led to people speculating like, oh, instead of review bombing, people would just mass install a game over and over and over again and bankrupt developers. Like it could be abused, and now developers were like, well, do I even put out demos anymore if it's going to cost me money? The whole point of putting out a demo is to garner sales. People were instantly like dropping. I know personal indie developers that were like, they halted their progress instantly and were like, what do I do? Like, do I continue working on my game now? Do I look for another engine? And this is something you learn. This isn't something like, I'm just going to switch to another engine. You have to relearn a brand new engine. That's like suddenly saying you can't speak English now. You now need to speak French, and you have no idea how to speak French. You can't just learn it. It takes time and practice. So for a lot of people, this was their livelihood, suddenly just put on halt. So the backlash was huge. Unity has since retracted their stuff, and it seems like they're in a better spot now. I don't know the full terms of what they did. I don't know if it's like after a certain amount of downloads, so it goes after the bigger fish that use Unity as opposed to the small indie developers, or what. But a lot of people have lost faith, and they're questioning, where do I go from here? Do I continue using Unity? Do I start using Unity again, but at the meantime start practicing Unreal or other engines to go from? And this has now had an effect even on the Nintendo Switch, where a developer named Neognosis was working on a brand new game called Ballistic NG. It is a Wipeout style fast racing game that is coming to all platforms, and the Switch version has now been canceled because of Unity. They've literally stated, by the time we'll have a Switch version of Ballistic NG ready, the threshold for Unity versions will exceed the new versions that Unity are pushing their terms of service changes with. And we currently have no confidence that they won't try pulling another move or pushing back to their original plans under or beyond the new terms of service. Despite Unity's efforts to recover after their PR disaster, there just isn't any trust and security for us to continue moving forward with newer versions of their tools in the foreseeable future. It comes with much frustration and disappointment that we're announcing the cancellation of the Switch version. Several years of development has gone into preparing Ballistic NG technically for the port, while maintaining the usual output of updates for the PC version. So this comes as a big kick in the balls to both us and everybody else who was excited for this version of the game. We're sorry that it has turned out this way, and we'll be looking at working with the console or the rumored Switch 2 in a future project not bound by Unity. And that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks big time. So Unity is right now, like, the people behind it were so disconnected, they got greedy, and everyone suffers. The developers suffer, the gamers suffer, and this is just the first, and who knows how many other cancellations will happen. Um, and it sucks because the game looks great, and it's like, well, there goes the Switch version completely. They just don't have the confidence. and they've worked on it for years. That's years down the drain, gone for this port, and it just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the worst part is like it's one, like I said, I think it could be regarded as like the number 2 engine out there. And so like where do you go after that? Like especially because Unity has tied in so well with the Switch, and being able to get games on there, it worked so well. And now you just throw in a huge wrench in so many gamer developers out there, and it's affecting those developers, it's affecting publishers, it's affecting gamers, and we're all being impacted by this. And so it's really unfortunate. I hope some other engines that are good will start being seen if they're out there. I hope, maybe this will allow them to have some light shine on them as well. Maybe there are some excellent opportunities out there for people to step up and earn the trust of these developers who are definitely looking for something good right now that they can actually rely on.
Developers were actually reaching out on Twitter. Like a big one was Cult of the Lambs developer stated that if things were not fixed, they were going to pull the game completely from the digital storefront. So the only way to get it would be physical. And other developers were doing the same thing because they would lose money. Like through the downloads, like we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna give Unity money. We're gonna take the loss by not being able to sell our game, but it prevents Unity from making money off of our game now at this point, like more money than because the way it worked is you paid a license to use Unity, and that was it. You had the license, you can now use Unity, and it's already not a cheap license, keep in mind. And then to go further and have to pay more and more and more on top of it. And when you're only making, let's say you're making $5 a game digitally, because Nintendo takes a cut and your digital publisher might take a cut if you don't self-publish. So maybe you're making $5, maybe $10 a game, and then Unity says, hey, well, we want some of that cut. Give us $2 to $3 of that cut. That eats up a lot of your profit that you need to survive, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Greg, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand like the whole like point. Like you want like the engine and stuff to like last just about forever, but um, almost to me, it almost sounds like it's just like a normal kind of thing. Like, well, Windows says like, well, Windows 9.95 is no longer viable to develop on, so here's Windows 10. So it kind of sounds like one of those things where it might need to move forward to get bigger and better games and more controls. And yes, it's more expensive. Yes, you'll get less profits, but I almost think it might be something that could be more tied to just getting like better games that be developed out of it, despite requiring like more money to pay for it. So, and yes, any developers are the hugest ones to get a huge kickback from this because their games don't nearly sell as much of like a Super Smash Ultimate or Mario Kart 8. It's not going to hit those levels of sales, and so then therefore they're making even less money, and it's even harder to pay studios. So yes, that's the double-edged sided to acknowledge, and that definitely sucks for them. But almost in the nature of it, it kind of seems like the engines do need to further evolve to allow for more creativity and more options and everything like that as well.
This
You
isn't
can't just
for evolving though. This is just for more money. This is just they want more money. They're not. It's not like to use it to enhance Unity. It's hey, we can make more money out of this. We can squeeze more money out of the people. Let's do it. If we break a few eggs, that's fine. That's what you have to do to make an omelet.
Yeah.
They got greedy.
Yeah. I know Jakester points out in the chat that it's also the former CEO of Electronic Arts as well, who does have some track record, we'll just say. So, it kind of seems like, if you were a little skeptical about what the reason was, his track record kind of proves that this is the reason.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I might have missed it because I was kind of distracted with something else. But yeah, if it was like an upgrade, like I initially thought, then yeah, that kind of would warrant it. But if they're really just saying, "Hey, the same thing is now just going to be $5 more, deal with it," then then yeah, that's pretty shitty. Then if it does
Think
not
about
coming
it.
with if it's not coming with more bells and whistles and make things better and easier to make, then no, that's not really worth it. It's basically like the grocery store just saying like, oh, you used to buy this bag of chips for $10. Oh, well, now it's $15, and now we're going to make the bag even smaller, and then there you go. Like,
Wait,
I
that
mean,
Well, it's even on a
happens.
grandiose level, though. It's imagine saying you have a brand new flavor of potato chip and you want people to try it. So you decide to do one of those free sample things, but every potato chip you give out, you actually have to pay the store 25 cents. So if you give out a whole bag of potato chips just to each customer so people try and buy your bag, it's now going to cost you as opposed to it be the only cost being that bag of potato chips that you're giving away for free. That's
yeah,
and then mass install. So if someone said, "Hey, I really like these potato chips. I'm going to buy one for each of my friends," the store is going to take more from it, like more from you.
Mhm.
And if
Yeah.
it's just it's greed, and it's literally taking these indie developers and just strangling them and
Yeah.
choking every ounce they can get out of them so they can't survive. And it's literally ruining developers and lives. And
Yep.
I know a lot of developer friends that are very, very pissed off, and I'm talking with them, and their project is on halt. Like, not
Mhm.
like,
yep,
here I was doing well, I had the momentum, and it's now I have no confidence. I don't know what to do. The
Yep.
last few
yeah.
years of my life, I don't know what to do. Like, they're gone.
Yeah, I definitely agree that that's very shady. They shouldn't be just increasing charge without making that like a more earned, like with more features and more options. Because if it's just a flat up like price intake, that's definitely all 100% greed, and I fully agree that it really hurts the indie devs the most because they're the ones that need to sell more copies of their game to break even, and then that and results them in charging more for their games. Then people are not going to assume that their games are worth it at that price, and therefore they'll not get the sales that they need to cover the expenses of the engine they use to make the thing that they wanted other people to experience. So
Yep.
fully on
Yep.
board that that's ridiculous.
Yep. Yep.
Imagine making a game that like has a character that someone doesn't like, or a group of people don't like, and you wake up and you check your bank account and you owe Unity thousands upon thousands of dollars because they just downloaded the game, reinstalled it, uninstalled it, reinstalled it, uninstalled it, and they just did that for a day or two just to screw you over, and now you're on the hook.
That'd be horrible. Horrible. Uh, well, hopefully this thing gets this fixed. Like you said, a lot of people are losing faith in them, not really trusting that they're actually going to keep to their new plans or whatever. So I'm hoping for I'm hoping for other engines to pop up, and maybe the ones that are already out there that people have overlooked for a while, but now they can start trying those out, and maybe they're also as good or maybe even better. And maybe this would just be better in the long run. It's a really unfortunate thing that's happened, but maybe it's better in the long run for the overall industry because Unreal and Unity were kind of ruling everything. So maybe this is going to allow other engine developers to pop up. That's my optimistic look on it. We'll see.
Time will
But
tell.
let's move into some headlines and kind of go over some top stories out there just to let you guys know what is going on in the gaming world. And unfortunately, we're going to start off with some other unfortunate news by another cancellation, and Greg's going to kick that off.
Yeah, I was just about to. You took my lead in with my transition there. So yeah, unfortunately, this first headline is not the best of news. So pretty much the Evil Dead, the game, the company issued a statement saying that they made the decision not to pursue development for new content, and pretty much will confirm they'll not be releasing a Nintendo Switch version of the game. And then still their normal jargon that they'll keep up the servers for the foreseeable future and still fix any bugs that arrive out of those things that might be found on those platforms, but they want to thank everyone for their support. So anyone that was looking forward to this on Switch, sorry to say you won't be able to get it.
In better news, a fantastic game is coming back to the Switch, Star Ocean's Second R, and they dropped an 8-minute gameplay trailer that showed off just how amazing this game is and how it looks. It includes all the stuff from the original games, plus new stuff like fast travel and new voice recordings with the original cast and those from Second Evolution, which is the PSP remake of the game. This does release November 2nd of this year, but there is a demo available right now, and it's my favorite kind of demo where the story progress carries over into the a real game.
Nice. Well, if you're into Kirby, there's another Kirby that's going to be coming out to the Nintendo Switch Online for the expansion packs. People you're going to be seeing on September 29th, so not too far away. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Yeah, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror dropping on September 29th for NSO plus expansion pass members. That's from the Game Boy Advance Kirby game.
Now another Debbie Downer story for me. So this time it's Platinum Games announcing that Hayek Kaimi, I feel like I just keep blank, I can't say his name properly. I really apologize for butchering it. Pretty much is announcing that he'll be leaving Platinum Games on October 12th. So they obviously wished him well in his future endeavors, and we don't know where this will going, but who knows? Like, there's been some speculation that he might be opening up his own future studio to see what more content he'll create going forward. So definitely best of luck to Mr. Kamiya, and have fun blocking more people as on Twitter as time goes on.
And in better news, something I've been working on for a long time is now coming, and it's the Premium Edition Direct. We're doing a Fall Direct, which is happening next Monday. That's October 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we have brand new Switch releases to reveal, as well as some other surprises. So we hope everyone stays tuned and watches it live as we do it premiere on YouTube. Some good stuff there. So hope to see you there.
Nice. And as happens quite a bit during our podcast, there's a Tetris 99 Maximus Cup that's going to be announced. The 35th Maximus Cup brings over some characters and themes from a little game that Barry likes called Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's dropping on September 29th, and it's going to be available at noon Pacific time and going through October 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time.
And then finally, a happy story, at least for my updates. Analog has announced that there's a transparent, a limited edition series with some limited quantities now available that will be on sale on September 29th at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and it will take at least 2 weeks for shipping. So if you're excited to get one of these like retro style consoles that have like even the classic see-through transparent skin of it, so you can kind of see all the motherboards and stuff like the Nintendo used to do for the Game Boys of old. Be sure to give this a check out as a way to enjoy some retro style games.
Nice. We don't have a whole lot of time. We've been going long, but quick reactions to all these stories, Barry?
Quick reactions. Sucks that Evil Dead is canceled. Doesn't surprise me. Any game that's like online only, it's gonna be a coaster, so it sucks. But it's nothing on Switch. It's just, I hate seeing it. Star Ocean looks fantastic. Always favorite demos like that, so definitely check it out. Give Star Ocean some love. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is not one of my favorite Kirby games, but I'm glad to see more NSO love slowly but surely. As for Hideki, sucks that he's leaving Platinum Games. Maybe he's going to work for Nintendo. They've got a really good relationship, so maybe Nintendo's doing a Sora thing, where Project Sora, where they just make a studio just for him. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some stuff from there. As for the Premium Direct, of course, I'm biased. Check it out; it's amazing. For Tetris 99, I don't usually play Tetris 99, but this is a theme I'm going to go for because it's Xenoblade and it's free, so I guess I'll be playing a little bit of it. And the Analog Pocket is an amazing system. If you have never played one before, it is a Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance in one with a full color, beautiful LCD screen with backlit, as well as adapters to play the Game Gear, the Neo Geo Pocket Color, the Turbo Express, all on the same system. It is phenomenal, and these colors look great. If it's anything like the glow in the dark, it will probably sell out within minutes because people are crazy. And if you've never experienced one of these, it's worth it. It even has a dock that you could dock it to your TV and play your Game Boy games on the TV. And it's not an emulation; it's all native, so it plays off of your Game Boy carts. It does not do like the Retron where it just it loads in a ROM, so you can use your original games and bring them back to life. So it's a phenomenal system.
Cool. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, obviously the sadder news is definitely not much appreciated, like the Evil Dead and even like Mr. Kima leaving Platinum Games, but stuff obviously can't always be controlled or whatever. So it's those kind of things. Star Ocean does sound like it could be pretty interesting, so maybe I might have to check that out. Kirby I've been a little bit more newer to, especially on Switch, so it might be something I actually finally check out. So I've gone back and played a few of the original Kirby games, but I haven't played this one yet, obviously, so I will be definitely looking forward to that. Premium Edition, always great to have more direct and more great games coming out physically for Switch. The Tetris 99, I haven't really booted that up in quite some time, so probably will be just about the same thing, just business as normal, just won't be loading it up. And then pretty much the analog thing does look really cool. I just kind of wish I kind of kept a lot more of my Game Boy games, because back when I was a ignorant teenager, I felt it was best to upgrade by selling off all like the older system games all the way up to the DS, and like those like the oldest games I have are just from the DS and 3DS. So it's pretty much because I had sold my Game Boy Advance and therefore can't really play Game Boy Advance games. So a lot of those unfortunately got sold and never to be likely owned by me again unless I'm willing to pay like triple the price for it. So not usually my best case scenario there, but it does look really cool and definitely would really want one, but I don't really have any games to actually put into it.
Gotcha. Well, before we move into what games are coming out over the next couple of weeks, we're just going to quickly remind you to subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform that you choose to use. If you're watching here on YouTube, then definitely subscribe to here, because we have other videos that come out on occasion. That we also publish here on our YouTube channel, but also follow us on social media. You can find us at NintendoFuse. And if you've not jumped over into our Discord server yet, make sure you jump over there. The link is on the screen in the video version, but also in the YouTube description and our podcast show notes. We'd love to have you jump over there and join our growing community. But let's turn our attention to the next couple weeks. Our next podcast recording is going to be happening live on October 9th of this year. So just a couple weeks away. And we have several games that are be coming out over those couple weeks. So I'm going to run through, as always, some of the highlights. Then we'll also be scrolling on the screen on the video version. You can see those scrolling from Metacritic. And then we'll talk about what we're hoping to play over the next couple weeks, as always. So as you'll see on the screen and scrolling, we got Harvest Moon, The Winds of Anthos, comes out on September 26th. Ease X Nordics comes out on September 28th. Disney Speedstorm comes out on also on September 28th. Fate Samurai Remnant comes out on September 29th. EA Sports FC 24, which is the replacement of FIFA, comes out on September 29th. Freedom Planet 2, September 30th. Read Only Memories Neurodiver comes out on September 30th. Disgaea 7 Vows of the Virtueless comes out on October 3rd. Silent Hope, October 3rd. Front Mission 2 Remake, also on we're moving forward a couple days. October 5th. My Little Universe, also on October 5th. Wargroove 2, that we talked about earlier, on October 5th. Detective Pikachu Returns, also on October 6th, that we talked about earlier. Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition comes out on October 6th. Even though Nintendo said the holiday 2023, Metacritic, as I saw earlier, and GameFAQs say that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Final DLC is supposed to come out on October 6th, but we're not holding our breath on that one. But it's coming out sometime this holiday that we definitely do know. So, Barry, any of these games or others that you're hoping to play over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, you got me with the Ease 10 Nordics, because that's coming out in Japan only. It is coming out here, but we don't know when, so it's only the Japanese release right now.
I blame Metacritic on that one.
I will. Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Dai is one I'm looking forward to very much, but I'm waiting for the physical to come from Asia. So after I finish Nayuta, I will either be playing that or possibly Silent Hope, which was shown off last time and the last Nintendo Direct. That looks really good. So those are my main 3 titles going forward until we get a little bit later into October when when things get heavy again. But yeah, that's the main ones right there.
Nice. How about you, Greg?
Yeah, I think it might just be the Wargroove 2 game, providing I can get some time into either the first one or even like the Advance Wars, just to make sure that I'm on board with the way that one plays a little bit differently than Fire Emblem. That's like the main one that really stands out, but I'm surprised Barry didn't say like a Paw Patrol World or something like that, which could be more fun for his
I
son.
got that pre-ordered, ready to go for him, so it's coming.
Yeah, you didn't say you were excited to play it, so I was hoping.
I'm not excited to play it.
Let's be honest.
Not excited to play it.
Yeah, you show it to him, and he'll was like, "Oh, look at that! There's Chase from the TV that you showed that you're
He
showing."
hasn't
him."
watched
But
TV yet.
They already knows
He's
at
3 months old.
Yeah,
He's an early
just
bloomer.
being silly. Yeah, I know. I'm just being silly. I thought he was supposed to be this gaming prodigy that he's being raised over there. In the
That's
Barry
right.
Museum.
We have high
he already
expectations
watched
for
me.
your son, Barry.
He watched me play Rune Factory. He watched me play Baldur's Gate. He watched me play Naruto. He's looking at the colors. I was like, ooh. I'm like, I'm so glad you can't understand that there's boobies on the screen when playing Baldur's Gate. I'm like, thank God. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if the DLC for Mario Kart is out before then, I'd be very pleasantly surprised. But I'm not thinking when Nintendo said holiday, they were referring to Halloween. So I think it's usually more Christmas time. So I'm not holding my breath for that one, but that would be pretty cool if it does drop. But yeah, that'd be the only other one that would be potentially optional. But yeah, it's mostly passes and continue with Pikmin 2 and just had possibly Wargroove 2 if I can swing over into the tactics area.
Yep. Did I miss something, Barry?
Oh, I missed you saying Detective Pikachu Returns. That one I might do too. That's October 6th. So that depends on the other stuff. I might jump into that, but I'm in an RPG phase right now. So
yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm gonna say just repeat the same thing I said last time because I didn't get to touch any of those games. Definitely wanting to go back to Mario and Rabbids and finish the DLC. And yeah, there's some other games. I'm not gonna be traveling over the next couple weeks, so I've got a little more time around my Xbox. So maybe I might finally finish Life is Strange 2. We'll see. Kind of forgot about that game. Yeah, so I think Mario and Rabbids will probably be the game that I definitely go to. I'll eventually finish Zelda, but I'm kind of just taking that little by little. Like I am getting distracted so much in that game that I'm like, you know what? There's no need to rush through this. I will eventually finish it, and when it happens, it'll be great, and I'm gonna enjoy the ride. And so yeah, that's what's going to happen with Zelda. Yeah, Jakester's mentioning in the chat, maybe EA Sports FC will be better than FIFA. I am not holding my breath on that one. I hope they've actually just created a new game instead of just continued to release the Legacy Edition with new rosters. But we'll see.
They can't say Legacy Edition right now because it's not FIFA.
Nope. So I think that kind of forced them maybe to recreate it, but I don't know how that all works. Could they use the same thing they had before, or did they actually have to start over again? Is it just in the naming, or is there some sort of loophole thing with like, did they have to recreate it? I don't know, but we'll see. But I am definitely not getting it right away. If I get it at all, honestly, like I'm not going to get a soccer game on Switch right now. I'm going to get it on Xbox. So I'm not going to be playing it on Switch until maybe Switch 2 Pro or whatever. If that actually does perform at the level of a PS5, then maybe I'll switch back over and get a soccer game on that one. But as of right now, if I get the new games with FIFA or FC or whatever, it's going to be on Xbox. So just a performance thing for sure.
Of course.
Yep.
Well, might as well play the best performance.
Yeah. Well, I know you guys are excited about the Premium Direct coming out in, what is it, just 2? Is it less than 1 week? Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, man, that's true. It's almost October already. How did that happen?
It is.
Holy cow. Wow, it is the 25th. Well, in just a week, we'll be finding out what Premium's doing, but I know you guys are excited about that. Anything else you guys are excited about beyond the gaming world that you're going to be doing the next couple of weeks, Barry?
We're starting back puppy school that we were working on prior to baby showing up. So it's gonna be the first time we have a babysitter over because we can't do with a baby while 2 puppies and bring them to puppy school. So well, that'll be interesting. That starts tomorrow. So we're restarting that whole thing. that's the main thing. But just one of the things my wife and I've been doing during this whole maternity break as we've been going through Pokemon. We've been watching Pokemon anime, something that we wanted to do, go through it all. So we're actually over halfway through Johto Journeys, which is the third season of the show. So we've still got a lot to go, but we're watching them all DVDs, no streaming. We're making sure we get all the cut episodes and everything. We want to see the whole thing. And
you get that exercise too, just stand up and swap the disc.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's been kind of weird going back because it started with episodes I remember, high school, and now it's like episodes I never saw. So it's like this is new to me. And we will, by the time we ever get finished, my son's gonna be old enough, he's gonna start watching with us, and that's gonna be cool to be able to watch with him and start doing the Pokemon. And even the who's that Pokemon, it's like for my wife, she doesn't know them all, so it's kind of fun seeing her try to guess, but with him trying to guess, like that's gonna be great. Like I can't wait for that.
You have to restart it again.
No, what we're gonna do is he's gonna join us in the middle, and then afterwards, if he wants to go back, he can go back. I'm not rewatching it. My wife can watch it with him. I'm not doing it. We still have the DVDs, so it's good.
Nice, that's cool. Greg, anything happening in your world?
Yeah, so we found a venue for our wedding, so we got our date of June 15th of next year. So that's really great to have that all sorted and figured out, and obviously more wedding planning continues in the coming weeks. So definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, so there'll be a lot more other developments in that regard coming up, especially as we hit closer to the holiday season. And I know her parents go to Florida for like their winter birds, so that's why we're hoping to try to have a lot of this contract stuff, like the bigger stuff, all set in stone before they head out. So
cool.
Yeah, it'll be nice to continue going on with that, and yeah, it'll probably just be hopefully some time to get some games in too.
Cool. You'd be getting married right after when E3 is coming back, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I've already suggested we could do our honeymoon into Hollywood Universal, so I don't know.
Nice. Well, yeah, I think life is kind of slowing down for me, so I'm just most excited about breathing a little bit, sleeping in my own bed a little bit more, and maybe actually getting some gaming time in over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, thanks for joining us for episode 277. We're going to be back on live on October 9th of 2023 with episode 278. And we'll find out over the next couple of weeks what we've been talking about, but we'll definitely be talking about, as always, what we've been playing and the games that are coming up over the next couple of weeks after that. But looking forward to having you all join us live. If you've never joined us live, be sure to do that. Again, we stream live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Twitch and YouTube. And you can always watch the video version on YouTube afterwards and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And be sure to share this with other Nintendo gamers that are out there as well. But thank you so much for joining us for episode 277. We'll see you next time. Happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.